Virtual School Counselor Conference. So excited. First of all, I would like to thank each one of you for joining us here today. I know that you took time out of your busy schedule to be here today, and I'm very grateful that you're here. Every single person in this room is here for a reason because you represent organizations that can and do and have, in many or most cases, played a role in making sure that your students and your schools are successful and thrive. But today is dedicated to you. Today is dedicated to providing you the field that you need to provide your students, your parents, your teachers, your administrators, and families the fuel that they need. And so it's dedicated to you. So I bid a very warm welcome to each of the speakers that are going to present today, to the facilitators who took time out of their valuable schedule and joined us today, and are joining us today for this conference. We are honored to have all of you with us. I would also like to offer my regards to all of the people who have made this conference be possible, not least of all, my support staff, Ms. Vanessa Ellis. She is definitely the inspiration that keeps me going. She keeps me on my feet. She keeps me on my toes, I'll tell you that. Last year, the theme of our conference was based on empowering youth, empowering school counselors who empower our students. This year, the theme, Discovering Resilience in Times of Challenge and Change, is based upon that term, resiliency. And so I'm so excited to introduce our keynote speaker in just a few minutes, who is going to share with us a bit on that resiliency phrase, or that term, resiliency. Humanity has been struck with epic disasters, not only over the past year and a half, but time and time again. Financial crises, natural disasters, political downfalls, pandemic outbreaks. Not only do these impact our organizations, they trickle down to the lives of individuals. They take the form of lost opportunities, difficult conversations, depression, helplessness, and broken relationships. Luckily, humanity has always found the inner reserves and a certain quality that has perennially helped it in overcoming these situations. This magic quality is resilience. How can a leader develop him or herself and enable his or her team to bounce back from such adversities? Failure is an inevitable part of life. One can either become anxious and give in, or decide to rise above it stronger. Clearly, resilience in today's world is not just a nice-to-have quality, but an essential one for success. And today is dedicated again to providing you, our school counselor leaders, with the information, inspiration you need to bounce back, rise above, and thrive, to be a positive force, not only for your students, but for yourselves. And so, without further delay, I am extremely delighted to introduce our keynote speaker, who is none other than Mrs. Ashley Wright. Ashley Wright is currently a school counselor in the Conroe Independent School District at Lucille J. Bradley Elementary. Mrs. Wright has 13 years of experience as an educator, with 9 years in the classroom and 4 years as a school counselor. She graduated from Sam Houston State University with her teaching and counseling degrees, and is also an LPC associate. Ashley's call to the gift of school counseling came from her experience as a teacher, where she noticed the consistently integrated social-emotional learning in all of her instruction. With students experiencing more challenges at home and with peers, she became dedicated to doing more outside of her classroom. She invested her time in becoming a school counselor and is very passionate about her counselor role, in which she works endlessly every day, making a difference in the lives of approximately 1,000 students on her campus. After just her first year as a school counselor, this is so amazing. After just her first year as a school counselor, Ashley received recognition as the 2018-2019 Texas Elementary School Counselor of the Year for the Texas School Counselor Association. She loves her parents, her staff, and the community, and is a champion for building future leaders. Without further ado, I welcome and bring to you Mrs. Ashley Wright.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is so great to see you. LaShonda, can everyone...
Ashley,
Uh-oh.
are you muted?
Oh, I am muted. Technology.
There we go.
All right. That was a funk this morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's so exciting to see all of us here together. I'm so excited to share some words of encouragement with you today. Thank you, Miss LaShonda, and thank you, Regent, for the warm welcome. I'm just so inspired by everyone in our role, and as you know and probably have heard, I am very passionate about the school counselor's role in our program and our kids, because I really feel that we can make a difference. So we're going to be talking about discovering resiliency in times of change and challenge. And so a little bit about myself before I get in. She's kind of given it to me already. I'm going to make myself small. And so I'll be moving this around a little bit so you can kind of see my face. But I was born and raised in Houston, Texas. Yes. Went to high school, middle school, elementary, all of my life. 13 years as an educator, 4th year as a school counselor, and I also serve as an emerging leader on the Texas School Counselor Association board. And then, of course, I received my award after my first year. And I just want to let you know that it's not about just the award recognition after the first year. I am just so empowered by the level of instruction and the support from my administrators. I have to give gratitude. My district counseling coordinator, Denise DePola, she's on here, and my principal, Dr. Christine Butler, because when you have people in your corner that support your role, that know what's best for kids, you can move mountains. And so I hope to be able to give you some tools and some strategies and some comfort so you can advocate for your role and you can move whatever mountain that you're struggling with today. And then also, I'm a wife and a new mom. So this is my little boy, Kyle. He's so cute. He is 8 months, and I call him my COVID baby. Yes, I had him during the pandemic, all of the craziness, and my husband, Kevin Wright. All right, so enough about me. Let's go ahead and get started for what you came here for. So today, my peers, I look forward to inspiring you to be the very best version of yourself. I hope that you take a few moments today to embrace and recognize the unlimited potential you have as a great, amazing human on this planet. You are truly here for a reason. We as school counselors are always striving to pour into the soul of every student, parent, and staff. Yet, we oftentimes forget to pour into ourselves. Well, it's time to do that today, so you can continue to be the overflow of joy and blessings for your community. Before we dig in, it's important to me that you know exactly who you are and whose you are. And for whatever that may mean to you today, I'm just asking you to focus on yourself. I would love for you, if you have a piece of paper next to you or some type of item or even your cell phone in the Notes app, to just start by grabbing whatever is in front of you and just saying and writing your name. Your name is powerful. It is part of your DNA. It is who you are. And then we're going to go back just like in elementary school. I want you to list all of the words, all of the characteristics, all of the attributes that represent you. And I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. list them all. As you are writing, and some of you may have written one word, some of you maybe have written lots of words, and some of you may just kind of be stuck and just haven't written anything. But that's okay. The words that you have chosen to write today, I want you to feel value in that. I want you to embrace it. And if you don't like what you see or what you're hearing yourself saying about you, today I challenge you to change it. You can rewrite your own narrative. Part of knowing who you are and whose you are is just by answering these essential questions. So I have 4 for you today that I would love for you to answer. Number 1, why are you in this profession? Sometimes we need to go back and really ask ourselves, why are we here? Why am I a school counselor? Number 2, what do you believe about how students change? How do they change? How do they go from negative to positive? What do you believe about that? How about people? How do people change? Number 3, who can support you? In all of this change that you believe in, who can support you? And number 4, what are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to advocate for? Once you've answered these questions, and maybe you can't do it in this moment, maybe later on today, you can make the commitment for change and be resilient. And you are making the commitment to refresh yourself, and you get ready. You be ready, and you go. Today, my friends, I want you to take a seat at my table today. I want to give you a supportive action plan and a mindset to help you along the way for your counseling journey. It is my hope that if you don't remember anything else I say, you remember these words that are staring right in front of you. Review, reflect, reform. Close your eyes for just a minute and meditate on these words. Review, reflect, reform. What do they truly mean to you? And how do they really, really make you feel? When we talk about review, reflect, reform, these 3 words have helped to strengthen my resilience through the most darkest times in my life as a school counselor. I want to also let you know that I don't have all of the answers. I don't consider myself this all-time expert, and I don't consider myself the perfect expert on all things counseling. But my friends, my peers, my colleagues, I do know this. I have gone through some intense trials and struggles, and I have always made a vow to help support anyone that is in need of overcoming their barriers, whether it's personally or professionally. In your school counselor role, it's really important that you do spend time first in review. Review is strongly important in every season of our lives. The power of reviewing our current reality, be it problems, celebrations, or challenges, or any situation as a school counselor, enables us to holistically see what we have truly accomplished and what we still need to do, or even how much further we need to push ourselves as school counselors. You know, we often preach on quiet times, right? Get quiet, get settled. But let's just admit it. The world is loud. It's crazy. We know we can't control the world, and neither can we control time. But as school counselors, we know we can control our mind, and we know we can control our actions. So why not do it ourselves? In the most chaotic times right now, we must bring ourselves into the present moment and just accept where we are right now. Accept what's happening right now. Feel it, list it, write it, jot it, do whatever is necessary, but you have to allow truth itself to be exposed. Be human with this process. If you laugh, laugh. If you cry, cry. Just empathize with the situation in front of you and cast no judgment. This can be done at any time in the year, in the day, or wherever you're going because we have so much happening. It's important to set time aside to acknowledge it as well as where we are with it or even how we're handling it. Most of us, when you start to reflect, when you start to review, you do have to have some judgment, and it does come into play. But it's very, very constructive. When we begin to realize just how human we are and that life gives us a constant opportunity to make change happen daily, we remove ourselves from those dark places, those dark pits, those chains that tear us down, the depression, the anxiety, the bitterness, the exhaustion, or even those negative statements such as, I'm not making a difference, I'm a failure, the world is just a loss, these kids will never get it. These are some of the things that we start to say when we start to review. Let me be clear. These negative feelings are very normal, and especially when we put forth our best effort every single day. However, notice I did say the words we remove. We remove because we each have the power to do that. Yes, we have power. Isn't it wonderful that when you begin to reflect on your life and reflect on its challenges, which are most of the time part of the past, you had the power to get out of your dark pits. I want you for just a moment to just take some time, just a couple of seconds, to review all of the things that has been happening and what are the feelings that are coming to it. You can jot it, you can write it. We're just going to spend a couple of minutes doing that. There's so much happening in our world, right? We have racism, politics, pandemic, suicide, technology, financial crisis, poverty, and the list continues to go on. When we are reviewing, as we merge into reflecting, we are just asking ourselves what is happening. We're accepting what is and the authenticity of it, and before you can deal with it, you have to acknowledge it. This beginning process is the most easiest because you are just allowing truth to be revealed. We know that truth does not lie. Our current reality is visible and it's before us. This part of the step does begin to connect our feelings to that genuine gifted desire to change. When we move into reflection, it is some judgment, as I have said, and we remove ourselves from those dark pits of feelings that we feel attached to what is happening. But that's why we are school counselors, right? You have to hold on to the memories of all of your challenges and the things that you have pushed on and that you have endured. Reflect on your history, your celebration. That is simply what you lean on when you see yourself or even a situation that is blurry, dark, or even distant. It is your story. It's your why. And we call that history. Sometimes we think history isn't important, but it so is. In fact, as you reflect, your drive for motivation starts to begin those birthing pains. You have to know where you've been to know where you're going. Oftentimes, when I begin reflecting on anything after reviewing as a school counselor, I reflect on my past as a kid. Okay? Lovely picture, right? I know some of y'all saw it on my Zoom. So most of you see me, when you saw me on the flyer, you see me as this brave, this beautiful black woman. And maybe as my pastor's wife would say, you see this beautiful mosaic. When I look at myself, I do see a mosaic. I see a masterpiece finally decorated, yet when you get close, you see all the dents, all the scars, all the cracks, but yet, still, I am wonderfully made. Whether you are a man today or a woman, you are wonderfully made. We must realize that these dents, the scars, the holes that we have, whatever you call it in our situations, are what makes us simply beautiful. It's also what makes the situation beautiful because it gives us as school counselors the opportunity for reformation and restoration. Looking back at my childhood, yes, that's my mom, I encountered some challenges, and I often reflect, and it reminds me of just how wonderfully made I am. The beauty of resilience in itself. It is this experience that helps me connect with my students and relate to my world. I come from a single parent home. My mother is diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia, and depression disorder. One of the most tragic childhood experiences that I recalled was in my high school years. My mom was having a nervous breakdown, and she was in a full paranoia panic episode. It was the worst of the worst. And if you can imagine it and see it and visualize it, it was that bad. I remember coming home one day to an empty apartment. My mother had given everything away. Everything away. The bed, the dresser, the TV, some clothes, pots, you name it, gone. Gone. No one thought to help her or even question what she was doing. She gave it away to some random strangers that were maintenance men. She did. I remember the pain, the depression, the confusion, the rage that constantly went through my body every single day because I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. I even recalled suicide at times. I didn't tell a teacher. I literally didn't know what to do. And I tried so hard to hide the pain that I was having. I was so popular, so heavily involved, AB student, varsity cheerleader, captain of the dance team. I couldn't let anyone know, at least grown-ups know, what was really happening. I didn't even know at the time what a school counselor was or who she was or how many did I have. I was so lost. My friends knew, but they couldn't help. And what I do remember is the love, the hope, and the courage that my own mother instilled from a very small age as a child in me. That small voice, my friends, stuck with me in my mind and into my soul and just kept telling me, don't give up. Keep going. Get somewhere safe. God loves you. And it is why I'm alive today. These reminders kept me from addiction, drugs, drinking, abuse, and suicide. So what's your point, Ashley? Right? You're sitting here wondering. When I think of my role as a school counselor and I evaluate my reality, I am reminded every time how much strength I have in the face of darkness and how much love and joy and power I have in the face of my accomplishments. I wonder today, my friends, what would it be like if we all as school counselors did some reflecting to the things we have done and worked on in our own history, in our own stories, in order to ignite within us to do something more, keep pushing for our students, and keep advocating for our roles. I made a commitment to myself to make sure that that tiny voice I had always heard in the past, I could be for the next kid, for the next teacher, for the next staff member, or someone in the community. Instead of having one voice, I am now another voice in one's mind to speak truth and encourage change in order to be that additional motivating catalyst for breaking the barriers of a certain situation. That, my friends, is what we take in when we reflect. It is here where we have accepted the reality, we acknowledge our feelings about it, and now we are eager to put a plan into place to make things happen. It is our power and it is our time. When you approach the eagerness and the readiness to implement action towards your current situation or your reality, we always feel that second wind of excitement, right? It's just like coming to a conference. That energy, that hope, and that confidence. And I am telling you, get excited. Smile. Feel full of joy. Get ready. That adrenaline rush of joy that you are feeling right now is so authentic, and you're going to need plenty of it for the road ahead. You've done the reviewing. You've done the reflecting. And now it's time to stretch yourself even further. This part is oftentimes the most uncomfortable part of the school counselor's process because we've become so accustomed to doing things the way we've always done it. Sometimes this is the place where we stop, right? We see it happening, we reflect, oh, those feelings come attached to it, but then we stop to make that move. We stay stuck in that reflection piece with the, oh, woe is me. The shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and the if only, or I just can't. My friend, you have got to move today. We move as school counselors because we know and we teach our students and staff to have a growth mindset. We have to practice what we preach. I know you're probably thinking right now, Ashley, there's so much on my plate. And I don't know what you're going through, or Ashley doesn't even know the hell that I've been through. You're right. I don't know. But what I do know is that challenges, my friends, are only meant for us to go through. Notice the key word, through. Challenges aren't meant to keep us down. They are meant to get us to our next level, our next destination, our next chapter in our story. So when you make the commitment to reform today and you change that mindset, you ignite the power of resilience within your soul. It's there. It's always been there. We just have to get in that right mental space for it to reveal itself and push us forward. You know, lots of people throw around the word resilience. And what I have learned as a school counselor and simple just being a human being is that resilience is really a skill, a process that you continually have to build upon. You can't just throw it around and expect people to grasp it, use it, or feel it. Resilience enables you to recall a time where you felt negative and you develop a plan to move from your situation. Obviously, you all here on the Zoom, you did. Because you are not where you once were, or maybe even still in that negative situation. One may still argue that you are still in your negative situation, but instead of looking at that negative situation only through a dark lens, I challenge you today to see the light. Right now, you are here. You woke up this morning, you are breathing, and guess what? You are still able to get past what happened yesterday. Challenges, yeah, they may still be present, but as the Chinese proverb states, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift, and that is why we call it the present. Resilience is that gift. Christian Moore, the founder of Why Try program and the author of the Resilience Breakthrough, defines resilience as the ability to bounce back when you have every reason to shut down, but you keep fighting on. I use a lot of his resources and my guidance curriculum to help my students master resilience. And this resilience speaks about different types of resilience, and it even helps me as an adult and my staff members on my campus. My most favorite one that I chose to share with you today is rock bottom resilience, because this happens to us many times in our lives, especially when we feel so unsupported or we just don't have anyone to turn to or anything to turn to. So just like I stated back in my high school years, notice that I was able to press on. The beauty of resilience allowed me to press on. I was able to put one foot in front of another. I was able to refuse to be defined by the negative labels that I had been given by myself and other people, because my colleagues, the mind can be a bully. It can destroy us, it can tear us down, and it can keep us there. But with rock bottom resilience, I was able to see my unlimited potential. Even as a school counselor, I know and I feel it, I know I have unlimited potential to overcome anything that comes my way. All right, here is a beautiful, beautiful graphic that the Y Try program has allowed me to share with you. I believe the illustrator did an amazing job of just representing us as people as this flower. It's almost like coming out of nothing. Everything's surrounded. If you take a look at it, there's just rocks and decay and dark. But what I love the most about this picture are the roots. The roots are what keeps this flower blooming. It keeps this flower continuing to grow. Sometimes we have to look at our roots. And oftentimes we don't like who we are or where we've come from, but those are some of the things that we just cannot change. But I truly love the roots because the roots are what we truly believe about ourselves. In those dark moments, that positiveness that comes from it. And so I want you to let that sink in. Because even if your roots are maybe negative and that's a part that you don't like, you're still using those roots to help you to be who you are right now. So we've got to love our roots. Meditate on that for a second. So while resilience starts with you, so you can influence others, it's important to remember in reforming that you are not by yourself in your school counselor role. You, my friend, are the conductor of your train that you are leading. The train in this metaphor is the school. The people inside the train are the school, or the people in your school. As a school counselor, we see many things ahead that our passengers, the students, the parents, and the staff that they can't see. They just jump on board, right? So when we make the commitment to keep moving, and sometimes we have to change those directions as needed, our passengers every day are fully trusting us with their emotional cargo, all of their baggage. They bring this cargo, their baggage, every single day, and we know it. And this reminds me of the infamous Harriet Tubman. As we reform, I believe we all have a little bit of a Harriet Tubman in us. We all have this underground railroad in which we endlessly, y'all, every single day go to battle to free our students, our parents, and our staffs from the chains of hate, chains of poverty, chains of anger, chains of grief, chains of suicide. You name it, we work every day to redeem it. We press on with our resilience to choose to go back to work every day, knowing the high risk of the battles before us, but we stay on board. We gather our students and we take them safely into that mental land of freedom, of joy, of prosperity, of hope, and last but not least, forgiveness. So just like Harriet, we don't stop. We may have to pivot sometimes, but we just keep pressing on. Last but not least, my friends, when we reform, we don't forget the ones that have supported us or who support us along the way. It is my divine belief that no one does this thing called life by oneself. We are all created to work, to live, and to heal together. When looking closer at Harriet Tubman, she was the conductor, right? But she had a lot of support from people that were like her and people that weren't like her. And I am very blessed to have had a constant circle of friends throughout my life that has contributed to my career, my goals, and my passion, and in my life's purpose. They have helped to keep my train running. And though I don't speak to some of them regularly, and I couldn't put all of them on here, they have helped to challenge me. And they have helped push me through the most intensive adversities in my life. The impact of a positive support system is very, very crucial to one's well-being. We as school counselors, we know that we are built on emotional connections. As school counselors, we know this because we know that it's part of our DNA. Though some of our relationships we may look at may be a little fractured or may be a little distant, that's okay. We strive, and we have to strive to be receptive of new relationships, new circles, and new positive energy, and new influence to build greater support. It is here where the healing can begin and be restored. It is also what empowers you as a school counselor and gives your resilience a greater sense of peace, joy, strength, and love. So find your cheerleaders today as you reform. Venture out and connect with someone who will pour into you as you start to reform. Be renewed, be inspired, and as you move gradually into your action plan, be resilient. Whew, right? We have spoken a lot today, my friends. Yes, we have. And I hope that my message has triggered both those uncomfortable and comfortable feelings to help push you through the remainder of the school year. I know that it's hard, y'all. And I know sometimes we feel like we can't push forward to do the things that are necessary. And I also realize that when we hear these messages like this, when we go to different school counselor conferences, it sounds so good, and we say to ourselves, I'm going to take that back. Oh, yes, and I'm on fire. And we start the next week great. And then when something happens, right, because it always does, we get back into that old cycle again. But I'm challenging you today. I am truly challenging you today. I challenge myself today to say, nope, I can, I will, we will make the commitment to review, reflect, and reform just as many times as you need to continue both of our beautiful stories. I really, really appreciate your time today. I know we're busy, and I know some of y'all are listening in, and some of y'all are zooming in and looking directly at me. And I appreciate your listening ear. I would love to leave you with this famous quote from John Gordon. I hang it in my office. I made a big poster of it. And I oftentimes, when I get into, just that negative mindset, when I feel fatigue, when I feel flustered, anything negative, I just sit and I just stare at it. And it helps me to get through the next moment. So I'm going to read it to you. John Gordon says from his book, no matter what anyone says, just show up and do the work. If they praise you, show up and do the work. If they criticize you, show up and do the work. If no one even notices you, just show up and do the work. Just keep showing up, doing the work, leading the way. Lead with passion, fuel up with optimism, have faith, power up with love, maintain hope, be stubborn, fight the good fight, refuse to give up. Ignore those critics. Believe in the impossible. Show up, do the work. You'll be glad you did, because true grit leads to true success. And so I put a little quote here for you guys that school counselors help students build bright futures because we are world changers. We have so much power, so much power. And I hope today that you got a little piece of that joy and you feel inspired to review and to reflect and reform and find that time for yourself so that you can continue in that role. And remember, be human with the process. Even if you can't do all of the things that you want to do, just one step at a time. The fact that you're even making the commitment to move only shows that you are indeed resilient. We have it, we just have to ignite it. And so I hope today that I was able to leave you with an action plan to get you started. And so I thank you. I left my information here today. I know that that was a lot for you to process this morning. But these are some of my contacts and how to connect with me on social media. And then also I have my evaluation form. And so I really hope that you enjoyed today. I'm going to leave, if you have any questions, I'm going to allow you guys to talk through the chat. If you want any questions, if you have any comments, please put them in the chat box. We'll be here for a little bit before we get into the break.
I just want to say, first of all, Ashley, thank you. I'm not sure, you probably can't see the comments.
Oh, yes, I'm reading them. I'm reading them.
I mean, this just this validates that I knew with the very first time that Ashley and I had a conversation, I knew that she was the person to open this symposium. She just, that energy I felt from her was just inspiring to me, one who's been in the field for double-digit years, and I thought, you know what, she's gonna light a fire, and so it is just has been absolutely, just to kind of paraphrase the words that Darla put in the chat, absolutely amazing and inspiring. And I loved her phrase that absolutely what this older counselor is. She said, this old counselor is now your biggest cheerleader. I love that. And so again, I mean, I love what you talked about, reviewing, reflecting, reform. I love that. And so
yes, some people said that they can't access the evaluation form. Just give me just 1 second, and I'll send it to you in the chat so y'all can have it.
Perfect.
I'm so sorry. Technology, right?
So please feel free, if y'all have any comments or any questions for Ashley, this is your opportunity to unmute your mic and share out any thoughts, comments, or questions before I then kind of go over with them.
Oh, yes. Someone just said to share the poster. I would love to. I will send that to LaShonda so she can print it off. And y'all, yes, make it big. Put it somewhere in your office that you can see it and read it as many times during the day, because I do. It sits right in front of me, so it is where it is. Oh, thank y'all. Yes, we are a team. It takes a village. We are rocking it, y'all. We are rocking
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for your amazing and inspirational speaking. My first question is, what program are you using that allows you to have your little picture in a moving bubble into this screen?
Yes, Loom.com. Loom.com.
Moon, like a moon in the sky?
No, let me type it in. Let me type it in for you guys.
Okay.
Let's see.
I have that question, Dr. Lane.
I was like, I've never seen this. This is so cool. Loom. Great.
Okay, and I put the Google form, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can fix the QR code really quick for you guys. It won't take me that long. And so, hold on, just give me
It says we need permission.
Yes, just give me just 1 second, and I can